Hi, I'm Shane, 29 this year, and I'm an Inquisitive Educator.
Yo, what's up guys? This is the Iron Man Educator, and today is another coffee talk with men in preschool. In today's coffee talk, we invite Shane Lim to share some of his views about being the male in the early childhood industry. Okay, now welcome to the coffee talk with men in preschool. We now have Shane in this episode, and hi Shane.
Hi.
Okay, now we ask Shane to do a little bit of background about himself. Okay, Shane, take it away.
Hi, I'm an early childhood preschool educator. I've been in line for about 6 years or 7. And I mainly teach the older age group of children, so like the K1s and K2s, for the past 3 or so years already. One of the most memorable moments I had in preschool was when I was able to help these pair of twins who would always react to each other.
Okay.
So what happens is that these pair of twins where they are a boy and a girl. So whenever the boy acts up, the girl will act up as well, causing the whole entire meltdown episode. Yeah. So what happened was I managed to convince the girl that the brother was actually doing something wrong and he's going through the consequences and tasked why he's being I would say dealing with the consequences. And after a while she stopped acting up and instead she started to tell the brother off. They said, you do something wrong and you had to deal with the consequences and I'm not gonna help you. So then the whole entire situation became so much better in class that she's able to focus in class and she's willing to listen to instructions and just basically do what she was told instead of fighting and resisting the teacher. And that time, and I was the only one that she will talk to, and she will listen. The other teachers try to convince her and talk to her. She just threw out a tantrum and all that. But when I talked to her, she mellowed down and she's able to calmly speak to me. So it's something that I felt that was the most memorable during my time when I first started teaching someone.
Is she like the elder of the twin?
Yeah, she was the elder of the two, like the older sister. Yeah, and the younger one's obviously the boy.
So that's why they have this big sister mentality kind of thing.
Yes, yes, correct.
So what about the most challenging challenge?
The most challenging, I would say, would be the first year I had to take on teaching children with needs. Yeah, so yes.
Which age group
so my
is that?
school actually practiced. Sorry?
Which age group was that?
K1, which is last year .
Okay.
Yeah, so actually last year was my most challenging year, being how there's the first time I take on children with needs, and I've never taught them before. I mean, I've studied about it, but I've never actually taught them in a class. So I had quite a few. I have 4 of them that were diagnosed. 2 was mild. I have 2 that was a bit more moderate. Yeah, so they all go for intervention. So
so you were the only one in the class?
No, I have a female counterpart, my Chinese teacher. So I wasn't the only one so quite lucky.
Was she with you all the time?
Sorry?
Sorry, was she with you all the time?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a full day Chinese teacher, so she's with me in the class most of the time. It makes it a lot easier because you got someone to help you with, but it's also very challenging because both of us have no prior knowledge of how to handle them. Especially when the meltdown comes, you'll be like, what am I supposed to do? And some of the kids actually quite aggressive, so we get pinched, we get kicked, we get slapped, hit. So that was the challenge to teach them to engage everyone while still having to deal with the meltdowns, the tantrum, and basically all those things that makes the class difficult. Like the child will walk around and we were like, one of us will have to catch the child and sit down with us, while my partner is having lesson, or vice versa. When I'm having lessons, my partner will get the child to sit down. So that was quite a challenge, but we got through it. At the end of the year, the child actually improved in terms of his behavior in school, and I was quite happy about it. So yeah.
So ever encountered all four of them act up at the same time?
No, usually my class only, for that particular year, only one of them will act up. The rest of them is actually quite mild, and most of them understands when you speak to them. So they actually tone down quite fast. Even the meltdown won't last very long. But for that one particular one, the meltdown lasts quite a while. So that's when we get all the bruises and all that. Especially me, because most of the time when he has meltdowns, I would stand nearer to prevent him from either hurting himself, because I have the strength, to hold him and to protect him from others as well, and others from him, vice versa. It's more of like when we go for outdoors. That was one of the challenges I had when we started, because we're very afraid that the child will run away or run towards the road.
Yeah, about this child, any particular most memorable challenge that you ever faced with this child?
Memorable, getting him to eat with a spoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the child is very sensorial, so the child has to use the fingers to take the food and put it in the mouth.
Oh.
So and we have to sit with him to get the child to actually eat. If not, the child would, when we are not looking, and start taking out vegetables and putting in the mouth. Yeah, and the child will occasionally take a friend's food and put food that he don't like inside other friends' food, and take the food that he likes from friends' food and put inside his own. So that's one of the most challengingly yet memorable moments.
Okay.
And another thing is that but because of this, right, the child actually learn to interact socially in a way, what's acceptable, what's not. And from then, he actually slowly stopped doing it. The child actually stopped doing it, and the friends all understood that, and they know that I need to watch my food if I sit beside this child.
Yeah.
So it's something both of us learn, the child, the class, and myself, and my Chinese teacher as well.
But what do you think could have made a difference, or how do you think the industry can help in reducing the load on yourself with this kind of children?
I guess currently from the outlooks of what the government is trying to do, they are moving towards inclusion schools for most schools, which is which I feel most schools will feel challenged because of the lack of training for them. Not knowing what to do with a child ultimately will cause a lot of problems in class, especially when it comes to teaching. So I guess as a society, we also must remove the stigma about children with needs. Like, they themselves can learn, they can grow, they won't affect your child. In fact, they will help your child learn to be understanding and have empathy. But I say, hey, will it affect my child's academics? Will it cause them to lag behind because the teachers are giving so much attention to the other children? I don't think that's the case. Like, we give attention to everyone, and we also want every child to grow. So moving forward, the stigma about children in need should really be removed in society. And one other thing the government can help us would be to, I would say, having the DSP program is good, but it doesn't cover every child. So children with moderate needs may not be given the opportunity to go a DSP program because they already had intervention outside. So it would be good if more support is given in the school to work with children with needs.
Okay, coming back a bit about your background. When you were in NS, you were Commando.
Yeah, I was a Commando. So
between a Commando image to something more feminine like the EC Educator, it's a bit, you want to fill us the blank in between?
Okay, so actually there's not much blank to fill, but in a sense that when I was in Commandos, I was a medic as well. So I'm a trained first aid medic. I jumped the airplane. I went to all the missions with the people, casevated casualties, did all the heavy loads and hard work in that sense, and earned my red beret. But at the same time, it doesn't take a big difference for me to transit from being a commando to being in the early childhood industry. The simple fact is that I like children all along. Like, I enjoy their company, I enjoy talking to them, interacting with them. and their curiosity has always tugged my heart. Like, oh wow, they're very, very, very curious. They ask you questions about anything.
Yeah.
And even when you may be a stranger to them or someone they've just met, they will still ask you curious questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of tugged me to do the switch. And the switch was a lot easier because I taught first aid first before I taught in preschool. So I was a first aid trainer, and I taught like poly students how to do first aid in terms of emergency period. So that kind of bridged the gap for me to teach. At the same time, I also taught in my church, in children's church. So I taught the younger age group, so like 2 years old. So I started there before I transited. And that made my ride a lot smoother in the transition. If not, there's no contact with children. It makes it harder to interact with them in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. In your opinion, what do you think is the current perception of males in the EC sector?
I think in the past 6 years, I've seen a range of parents. Their perception of a male teacher ranges from, are you gonna do anything to my child? To, wow, we need more male teachers in preschool. We hardly see them.
That's after 6 years, right?
Sorry?
That's after 6 years, right?
In between 6 years I have, but not a lot. But at this point of time, there's a lot more.
Yeah,
you see.
okay.
So at the end of 6, like current years is the time where I hear a lot more that they need male teachers. And I think the current perception of male teachers in early childhood is still very stigmatized.
Yeah,
like,
it's still there.
What can we do in a preschool? I mean, we don't even have to talk about parents, but just talk about principal. I've heard and met principal who wouldn't hire a male teacher because to them, a male teacher can't do anything. Why would I hire them? They can only teach.
Yep.
Why hire them? But in my 6 years, I realized that as a male teacher, I don't only teach. I do things that helps the center operate smoother in terms like, oh, maybe there's the need for change of light bulb. Not saying female counterpart can't do it, but it's a lot easier for a male to do it as compared to the ladies, you see. Like, we wear pants most of the time, in that sense. So I feel that the principals, the leaders in the sector should first change their concept of what a male teacher is and what they can do before we can say that, hey, parents, we need male teachers in the sector. The leaders must first believe that they need male teachers in the sector before we can change the society view. Because if nobody hires male teachers, then nobody will see male teachers in the school. And it makes it harder for us to change the perception in that sense.
In that light, what do you think is the unique role of male educators in this sector?
I would say it will be to give a male perspective of how an adult can face and solve problems. Because in a preschool sector, in a preschool where children mainly face females, when it comes to problem solving, they would think in a perspective of how the teachers actually had done it. And with the male being in the school, they see a different light. Like, hey, actually I can play a little bit rougher. Hey, actually I don't have to do things a certain way, that because I'm a boy and may not meet what the girls are doing, you see. So the boy actually has another role model to learn from, in the sense that when we're in preschool, and we give the kind of love that you say a child falls down, the male teacher is less likely to, oh, are you okay? Whereas a female teacher will go straight to the child, are you okay? Then started to pick the child up and pet the child. Male teacher will just stay cool, slowly walk over from afar, ask if the child is okay. And if it's fine, dust off and then just continue playing. That's what I would usually do in my school. Like, I wouldn't rush to their aid. I let them pick themselves up first. So that's something that a male probably can give more than a female does. Yeah, in the sector. So that's what I feel.
Would you say that the way you handle the boys and the way they handle the girls is a bit different?
Yes, it's definitely very different. I am much gentler with the girls. I'm a bit rougher with the boys. Like, in terms of, if you're playing in the playground, a boy and a girl falls, I'll check with the girls first before I check with the boys. I also want to portray a character where a man is a gentleman, where you take care of the ladies first.
That's
before you take care of other guys lah. Because well, men are supposedly tougher in a lot of situations, and we went through army, or they are going to go through army. So sometimes they need to learn to pick themselves up before having someone pick them up after that. So yeah,
that's true. What do you think is some of the factors that will deter males from entering this sector?
Wow, a lot I think there's quite a few. There's really a few. Okay, so one of the main factors that I think would deter any male teachers from coming to the sector would be the pay grade. It's very straight up pay grade. I mean, even for female teachers, the pay grade is something that deter them quite a bit already. Moreover, a male, where we have to be the breadwinner in the house, we have to provide for the family. This industry doesn't give you that ability that easily. You have to really climb the ladder to reach a certain standard before you can do that. Even then, it's still difficult, because climbing a ladder in a female-dominated sector is definitely difficult for a male teacher lah. You know, I'm sure you know, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. Another one would be the social stigma of how a male teacher, or rather preschool teachers, are being perceived in the sector. I mean, society has changed from saying preschool teachers are babysitters to more preschool teachers are important educators. So that works for female, but when it comes to a male counterpart, their parents usually have that worry: is this male teacher really gonna value it to my child's life or not? Will he end up causing hurt or things like that to my child? Because males are always perceived as the one with more strength or rougher and may cause problems.
It's a kind of more harm than good kind of situation, right?
Yes, it's the more harm than good kind of situation. And the newspaper doesn't help. Seeing how a lot of news have very negative publicity about male teachers. I mean, not locally, but globally. Male teachers are perceived quite badly in that sense. So it's something that the whole world needs to change. But that's probably the two factors that I feel that really deter male teachers from staying in the industry.
Okay. So how would you encourage males who are keen in the EC sector to come into the field? If let's say there's a potential candidate standing right in front of you, how would you tell this person that okay, it's good to come into this field?
Personally, I would tell them the perks of being a preschool teacher. It's a job satisfaction that you don't get outside of this sector. Like, if you enjoy working with children, you enjoy teaching, this sector gives you the satisfaction to see the child grow quite spontaneously, because it's a period of time that they grow the most, and that satisfaction comes from it. Another thing would be that male teachers are important. Like, as a male teacher myself, I feel that having a male role model for children, for boys and for girls, will set the standard of how they will look at boys and girls in future, just like how their father set the standard for how they would want to be loved. So a male teacher will set the standard for how a male should be like in society in that sense, and that brings forth an important role that you can bring into a society that in this sector that nobody else can but you as a male teacher.
For a person to get prepared, what do you think is the necessary skills to become an EC educator?
Patience, and more patience. Because firstly, it's patient with the child that you are teaching. I don't know, I'm not generalizing that all males are impatient, but when I first started, patience wasn't my strongest strength. But as I taught many different children, as I went through the years, patience became my strength. You will realize that children learn at their own pace. You can't force them, just like how adults learn. And we really need to help them get there. And not to spoon feed them there, but to really teach them the right concepts, the right methods to get there. So first thing is patience for children. Next thing is patience for parents. When I first started, the very first thing that I heard from my boss on the first day of work, my first boss, she told me a parent asked if I was a pedophile. So parents didn't have a good perception of male teachers in the first place. So they actually questioned my boss, why you all hire a male teacher? Is he good or not? In a sense, good or not? Or, credible? Is he going to do anything for my child? So we will see these parents a lot. And then after you go through that barrier, the next barrier will be parents telling you what you think, even though you're trained, they'll say that that's not right. What you think isn't right. Like, that's not how my child is. That's not how he is at home. But the thing is that we see them 8 hours a day in school. I mean, at least for childcare, it's 8 hours. Kindergarten's about 3. We see how their personality is like, how they grow. And sometimes parents feel that we are against them in helping their child develop.
Okay.
So being patient to tell them that we are on the same boat, doing the same journey to help your child grow, is one of the most important and also the most difficult to do, because sometimes parents just don't get your point of perspective. So we have to really be patient to explain to them till they get it, you see.
Yeah.
And then the last patient will be for yourself. Across all males and females, preschool teacher, I would say we are not very forgiving of ourselves, especially when lesson doesn't go the right way or children doesn't get the concept. They're like, hey, is it my problem? Is it my lesson plan not done properly? Is it I don't understand the children? And then you try to rush into it and do something to change.
Trying to fix the
My
situation.
advice would be, to solve it, to fight fire in that sense. Fight fire, but actually there's no fire lah. It's just you being overly impatient about growth. And so as a preschool teacher, you have to be patient with yourself so that you know that, hey, I've made a mistake or this is not right for this particular time. What can I do? So you reflect on your lesson and then slowly change, and not just try to do an instantaneous change, because you end up having more problems. That's what I faced when I tried to suddenly change my lesson plan, suddenly change the way I teach. The children couldn't understand it still, and I kind of blame myself, like, am I in the right sector? Am I supposed to teach? No, there was a doubt that creeped in, but over the 6 years, I realized that I need to be patient with myself just as much I need to be patient with the child and with their parents. So it's very important.
A little bit of commercial break right now. What do you think is the essential skills for early childhood educator to be best equipped with? Comments down in the section below. And do remember to subscribe to the channel. All right, let's carry on with the coffee talk. Okay, finally, what's your aspirations for the future of early childhood in Singapore?
What's my aspiration for early childhood in Singapore? This one I need to refer to my notes. I think the biggest aspiration that I have is that there'll be no more social stigma for males. Because at the end of it, before I came in the preschool sector, or when I first started, from my friends, they'll tell me male teachers in preschool are very kunyang. They are very sissy, I would say, very soft. I must be honest that I really had that perception when I first came in. Like that one. So that was something that I feel is not right. And especially when I came in, especially when I was teaching, and I told parents I'm from Commandos. They're like, wow, really? You're from Commandos? Yeah, I'm from Commandos.
So did you have to show your pictures?
I didn't have to show my pictures, thank God. But it's more of that they change their perspective that male teachers are not like that, and that I can be firm, I can be rough with them, and still love them. In my own way, in a more manly sense of way, rather than having to match my female counterpart in that sense. So that's the social stigma that I've seen, and so far it's still the same. I have people telling me do you see other male teachers? Are they also very sissy, very feminine like? I said no. I mean, after I met men in preschool, I feel I've seen quite a few rough and tumble men like you yourself, running, and I myself doing the power school, and there's a lot of teachers that I've seen that do not portray what society sees. And we should really work towards clearing that, to really portraying the right image, or rather showing everyone what's the image of a preschool male teacher is like.
Finally, do you have any personal motto that actually keeps you going? Yeah.
I got two personal motto. One's for my children in school, one's for myself.
Okay.
So I for my children, I always tell them in school, you try, and you try.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that I don't know. I don't want to hear the I cannot until you try, and you try.
Mm-hmm.
And that kept my children, that taught my children to be persistent in school.
Mm.
To keep doing what they need to do, as in my class, children in my class. And as for myself, my motto is I'm here to teach, not for you to like me.
Oh, that's
because sometimes we get so worked out. Hey, the children must like me. Wow, I buy stickers, I buy pencils and erasers for them so that they like me. But I felt that was not right. That at the end of the day, I'm still an educator. I mean, you can like me when I play with you and you enjoy the time that I play toys with you, do role play with you. That's perfectly fine. But when it comes to learning, I much rather you learn from me than tell me I like teacher Shane a lot. Because at the end of the day, you cannot like me forever, because I won't be in your life forever. I'll only in your life until you're 6. I'm only teacher until 6. So I'd rather you learn from me until when you're 6 rather than you like me till you're 6. Then at the end of the day, when you grow up, will you remember me because you like me? I don't think so, but I think you will remember me for for what I taught you, you see.
Not for what you have given them.
Correct.
Like material kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, those perishables also. But what you learn from me is not perishable, you see. It goes with them.
For
that's something that my motto is like.
So that's the end of the coffee talk. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed the coffee talk with me.
I did. It's fun.
and thanks for sharing all your experiences and encouragement for potential new male educators to come into this sector. It's definitely very insightful for them.
I hope so.
Yeah. Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Well, that's it for the coffee talk with Men in Preschool with Shane Lim. He's the Inquisitive Preschool teacher. So very insightful talk with him. So if you like this series of coffee talk with the Men in Preschool, do remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to see more of such coffee talks with the Men in Preschool. All right. If you have any comments, leave down in the comment section below. All right. So as usual, see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I would say
geeky teacher.
I would say I'm a shameless teacher, but